Today we discuss players in the pipeline with the Munnsters, Michigan State's hockey student section leaders, Madison and Micheal. Welcome to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast.
Welcome back to the Griffins Pipeline Podcast. We are a podcast brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Connor.
And I'm your other host, Kyle. We're a show brought to you by the fans, for the fans. We are not officially sponsored by the Grand Rapids Griffins or the Detroit Red Wings. We just bring you the show because we love Grand Rapids hockey, and we want to keep you updated through this offseason.
Yeah, we are by no means experts either. We're just diehard fans. So yeah, a lot going on. Summer, it's off season. You know, you have the draft, you have the development camp going down on in Detroit, and then you have the free agents frenzy. We're not going to get into that too much right now in this episode. This is more of our players in the pipeline episode, our first episode of the season. We're talking to Michigan State hockey student section, the Munnsters, one of the most notorious fan bases in all college hockey. And Michigan State hockey alone is just really looking at a really good rise this year. A lot of returning players and a real good shot at a NCAA national championship. So we have a really cool interview coming up for you.
Yeah, so this nice long chat with MSU section leaders. Get a good chance to hear about the culture, the players. We highlighted Trey Augustine, Red Savage, and Nicholas Andrews. So we'll go ahead and let this interview play. Had a nice, good chat with Micheal and Madison, and we would love for you guys to hear how the progression of these three players has gone in the culture of MSU.
The reason we're bringing in a lot of other people is because we're not experts at all. We don't know about these players, really. We know about Griffins hockey, and we just want to learn more about other players, people who actually know what they're talking about and who actually watch the players instead of people who hear something online or whatever. So yeah, we got a couple fun ones coming up. We got Al Randall from Michigan Hockey. He'll be our next one. And then we got Lars Storzel. The Swedish Leader podcast. So we got a lot of really fun interviews coming up and a lot of really cool insight on players from people who actually watch them instead of us just babbling on about something we don't know. So that being said, let's get into the interview.
So today with us, we have Micheal and Madison, Munnsters from Michigan State Hockey's student section. How are we today?
Great.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so we're here to talk about some Michigan State hockey, some of the players, and we kind of want to know about the culture a little bit going. First things first, we want to know about you guys. What do you do, or what do you want to do?
So I am a student at Michigan State, obviously, one of our section leaders. I'm a senior. I'll be finishing up here in the fall. But yeah, I love hockey, man. It's so fun. It's great going to these games. Our role there is just kind of get the students going, get the crowd going, make some noise, have some fun with it. We get the cowbells, we get the flags, start chants, bang on the glass. Our role is just to make sure everybody's having a good time, make sure the team's doing good.
Yeah, so we're kind of like section leaders over in Grand Rapids. We always
There you go.
We just get the crowd going, have fun. Yeah, that's really cool.
So what about you, Madison? What do you do, and what do you want to do with the rest of your life?
Yeah, so I'm a student as well. I'm going to my junior year this year, so still have a couple more years left. Kind of just wanting to go into the sports, go into the NHL, continue love of hockey.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just something about hockey. It's such a great sport. All right. So what's your favorite part of MSU? Being an MSU hockey line leader. You can go first, Madison.
I gotta say, probably like the community. I think the students they're very passionate about our hockey team and a lot of our teams, but especially our hockey team. And there's just a sense of they want to be, we'll have students come in line at 2, 3, 4 in the morning for a 7, 8 o'clock game because they want to be on the glass, on good seats,
That's so
just
cool.
enjoying the atmosphere. So I think that's really cool to kind of be a part of and see how much they just, even if it's not going in our way, they're still chanting and cheering and boosting our team up because they know the potential of the team.
Yeah, and I bet those rivalry games get extra intense. Those like the Ohio State and Michigan game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you guys play at Munn Ice Arena, so that's where you get your name, the Munnsters, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
That is, I think that's awesome. So it's really cool to see you guys kind of as section leaders. I've watched some of the Michigan State games, especially trying to watch Trey Augustine, and you guys do a great job getting that place wild. I mean, I
Thank you.
I definitely
Thank you.
underestimated until the last couple of years how MSU has grown and like what they do as a hockey club. So, and like you said, it's not just hockey, it's all of their sports, and it really looks like the facilities have taken quite an upgrade over there over the last couple of years.
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
you guys get to use them at all? Tell us about them.
Us personally, we don't get to use them as much. Obviously, it's more for the players. However, at the end of the year, every year we have a like big fan celebration where everybody gets to go around the whole stadium. They kind of just open it up.
Nice.
So if you're a student ticket holder, season ticket holder, anybody that has like a full year ticket package, gets to come in. You skate with the players. You could do autographs, take pictures, but then they let you in the locker rooms and they essentially just open door everything. You walk around, you can see the cold pools, hot tubs. They have their like film room. It's awesome. They invested a lot of money into that facility. It's very nice. It is probably NHL quality. I've heard, obviously seeing on social media from players talking, and they love that place.
Yeah, I think that facility, what you guys have there beats a lot of, I guarantee, what we have at Grand Rapids Van Andel Arena doesn't quite keep up with the modern renovations of the locker room and stuff there. It's insane what you guys have, and it makes sense why Trey Augustine might want to stick around another year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I also noticed, like, I was watching a video, and there's this guy, and he was saying that he waited like 5 minutes after season tickets went for sale, and he couldn't get them. They were already sold out. So you guys have a very passionate fan base, which is really, really cool to see.
Yeah, I think they sold out. It was like 30 seconds or something crazy for
That's
students.
insane.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and like Madison said, waiting outside, getting there super early before trying to beat people there. That's the type of energy that creates a passionate environment. So really cool stuff there. I want to hear both of your favorite players and maybe your favorite part of the season.
So we'll start with you, Michael.
Yeah, favorite player, Trey Augustine. He's so good, man. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's got a lot of talent, and I think if anybody on this team can go far in the NHL and bring a team to win a Stanley Cup, hopefully, it's going to be Trey Augustine. He just comes in clutch every time. He's got a lot of skill. Um, Super fun to watch. But favorite memory? I went to a lot of, obviously I went to every home game, but I went to a couple away games to some different places. Watching them play outside at Wrigley was really cool.
Nice.
Augustine wasn't there because he was too busy winning a gold medal. But yeah, it was a cool game, cool atmosphere.
Yeah. So what about you, Madison?
Um, yeah, I gotta say the same, Trey. I think he's just a really good goalie and he never seems to stop amazing you. He's like just so good for his like age and what he does and coming to state. I think he's helped a lot of like the depth that we needed from a goalie. Um, so I think he's just really cool to watch. Favorite event, like Michael touched on it, but Wrigley, that was really cool. Otherwise, like I mean, home, any. rivalry, Michigan State game. I think that is always so cool to go to and see.
Yeah, that's always the rivalries are kind of what make college sports what it is. I think that always brings the atmosphere you're looking for. And you guys being the section leaders, I'm sure you guys go the extra mile on those games in particular.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So anything else you guys want to mention about MSU hockey before we kind of dive into the individual players?
It's fun. Get to a game.
Yeah, we're gonna have to make it down there for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess over there because we're in Grand Rapids, just over to Lansing.
It's only like an hour. We
Not too far.
and we'll make it. We'll survive. But yeah, I'd want to go to like a rivalry one for sure. Like a Michigan State, that'd be insane.
It's hard to get tickets to, like so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear. But all right, we'll get into Trey Augustine first. Obviously, we talked about him a little bit, but what do you guys got to say about him?
Yeah, basic observations and what do you think his potential is? Where does the ceiling sit? And I guess if you want to get into it, we can talk about his decision to stay for the next season for you guys.
Cool. Madison, you want to go first?
Sure. Um, I think anybody who watches him can agree he's a great goaltender, especially in the college Big Ten realm. He's definitely a name brought up a lot, and you see, especially not just when he's playing for state, but when he, went to World Juniors and won two medals. I think you can still see his talent. He's still continuing to grow. And he just he's very calm between the pipes, and you don't really see him get flustered too often, if not any. And I think that's really cool to watch. And he definitely just is very like observant and kind of can guess where the puck's gonna go. And I think that's important as a goaltender, and especially like knowing your defense and your defense being able to like rely on you is important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean that as a defender, you're always counting on your last resort if someone gets by you and
Yeah, so he's you're less he like not like Kosa. So you got Kosa in the pipeline, the Red Wings pipeline also. He's like 6'6". He's a big guy, they call him the big fella. So you got Augustine, who's more small, fundamentally sound guy, which is like really cool to see because you got like the two opposites in the pipeline. So it's like hopefully one of them turns out. Usually both of them aren't going to make it, but seeing them both make it would be really cool. But yeah,
For sure.
I'm excited.
Trey Augustine being looks like he's 6'1", kind of pull up the stats here. He's 20 years old. He has put on a show for you guys. 9.24 save percentage this season, 2.08 goals against average, 19 wins, 7 losses, and 4 overtime losses. So really just dominated the room. Was he like the starter every game?
Yeah,
The
pretty much.
backup didn't rarely get starts or anything unless he was probably at World Juniors.
Pretty much.
Okay. Oh, that's good to see. Knowing that he can take on that lead role without, really the competition. So I'm going to be curious to see when Augustine steps up to that competition level and see if he can kind of challenge Kosa maybe at the end of the season next year. So what about you? I want to hear your opinion, Michael, on his ceiling and potential and the observations you have made.
Yeah. He's great. He's so good, honestly. And I think a big thing when you talk about him is his decision to stay.
Right.
Nobody saw that coming. And I think the funny part about it is it was announced on April 1st. Go figure. So everybody was freaking out about it. And then I'm like, okay, I didn't want to repost anything, because I help run our Twitter page. So I'm like, I'm not falling for this. We're not doing this. And then it was April 2nd, and he's still staying at Michigan State. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Wait a couple days, and yeah, it's real. Stuff came out. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bittersweet almost because I am, Red Wings fan, all that. So Red Wings could use some help for sure. But hey, I'll take you at Michigan State. I'm not going to complain about that. But he's fun. He's great. And honestly, I think a big part of his decision to stay is because Detroit just signed those goalies and they
Yeah.
kind of got a little bit of a logjam there. So for him to go to Grand Rapids, you'd be a backup. And no hate to the East Coast League, but Toledo would be great for him. He'd be the starter, obviously, but uh, competition, college, you're letting all the CHL players in there now, and I think your level of competition in college is really good. So for him to stay, you're going to start every single game. You're going to get a lot of playing time. You're obviously playing with great coaches. You have the Hobie Baker winner going
Yep.
back to college on your team.
Yeah.
So their team is stacked. You're running for a possible shot at the Natty this year.
For sure.
So coming back's great, but yeah, he's really good. I think he'll finish this year out. If I had to guess, he'll probably sign and go to Grand Rapids at the end of this year. Like I said, he would be placed in. He'd be Kosa's backup more than likely in Grand Rapids, but even Grand Rapids, you have other goalies, so who knows? It's hard to say.
Yeah, with Geilander and Bednar over in Toledo, I'm guessing he will just instantly step into the competition between those three and be the backup, but I'm really looking forward to him challenging Kosa.
Yeah, and I'd like if he goes to Grand Rapids and then the Griffins fall out of the playoffs early or for some crazy reason don't make the playoffs, then I'd like to see him go over to Toledo for some playoff experience. But I think he'd be better to start off right in the AHL personally.
Yeah, I think him going to Toledo, I think he would be really good, to be honest. I'm a big Walleye fan, so hey, come on down. But
Yeah.
I think for him and just his own development, staying in college makes a little more sense.
Yeah, he was drafted in 2023 and he's the second round, 41 overall. So he's a second round goalie pick. That's a really high pick for a goalie.
Yeah.
I mean that usually it's a really big gamble to go for a goalie, especially like in the first round. So having Kosa in the first round, 15th overall, and having the next year you have Trey Augustine at 41st. That's just crazy having two goalies like that. Hopefully they can both pan out.
At least one of them, please.
At least one, yep.
Pipeline is rich, so
Yeah.
kind of talking about Trey here and his decision to stay. I think a lot of that is, credit to your guys' facilities there. I really think he has a nice leadership role kind of in the locker room. He's like dead center present. Like people walk in, it's like we were watching the Chicklets University video, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's like right there. He walks in, Trey Augustine, front and center. So I think he kind of likes that attention he's getting there for sure. And just like you said, the ice baths, the luxurious weightlifting equipment. I think it does kind of put Grand Rapids stuff to shame a little bit, and I would see why they would say like, "Hey, you have all the opportunity. You can stay under this building and learn, and everything's good for you here. You stay on your diet. Everything's kind of cultured well for them, and why take them off that program if it's not necessarily that Grand Rapids won't develop them because it just becomes more of a challenge to kind of stay with your elite game at that point."
And like you said, with Bednar and Geilander and Kosa all being there and possibly Jack Campbell still, the room's kind of crowded, and that's the kind of thing that would almost force him down to Toledo.
Yeah.
Possibly. He could come up and perform amazing, but I think it's safer to just stay right there in Michigan State. And obviously there's that cup he wants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they need that championship, man. I thought this was the year, but
That's all right.
Yeah.
Retool and keep going.
Right.
absolutely.
That's basically this. You guys probably deal with it just as much. There's a very high turnover rate for our teams, especially here in Grand Rapids and then NCAA. It's almost like you have a fresh team every year. So when dudes do stick around, you kind of get to know them and your heart stays out for them. So
Yeah.
Red Savage, we want to talk about him being your captain.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the name. His
Yeah, I was
jersey is
saying.
21 Savage. He doesn't get better than that. Um, he's great. He unfortunately, he got injured. It was a shoulder dislocation or something, and um, that hurts, but he's great. He sticks around the locker room. He's on the bench all the games. He came into our student section one of the games, hitting the cowbell. You can tell he loves it. He loves MSU. He loves being around that crowd. Senior night, he did put his skates and stuff back on. He came out on the ice for all the festivities. Um, he's great. You can tell he's got a big leadership role there. People love him. Um, and he really helped our team, and you could see it when he went down, unfortunately.
Yeah, like you said, obviously the coolest name ever in hockey. Like if he does make it to the Red Wings, Red Savage, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
You can't even make like that's like a Madden name. You make up some beast on there, name him Red Savage.
So this injury he had, what do you think that's gonna do for him with this offseason and his future? I know it's kind of a huge question, but being that you guys kind of were around to see a little more, what do you guys think the trajectory
Yeah,
is for
because
him?
before he got injured, it was kind of seeming like he'd go up to Toledo or Grand Rapids this year.
Yeah, unfortunately. Madison, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, well, like obviously, because he got injured in January, I believe. So he was out for a good majority of the rest of our season. So I think it's hopefully the surgery worked, obviously, and he can get back into it. I think it's just a lot of that recovery that's going to be important of like because he like Michael said he was there watching his teammates play, continuing to watching the game and studying up on what he needs to do, but I think it is just a lot of that recovery to get him to where he is. And obviously when the season ended, graduated, kind of hoping to hear from like a contract coming up, being
Yeah.
drafted, but now it's a little bit of an unknown with his injury, but I think he would possibly sign with the Griffins. Obviously, it's kind of an unknown right now and how long his recovery will take, but yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. I was hoping Grand Rapids would offer him a contract, at least get him into our system, keep him around here. And then by the time he recovers and gets healthy, maybe he can kind of push for a roster spot if he fully recovers. But I think that's all just, it's all been radio silence for a little bit, trying to figure out with some of these players, being that it's the off season and everyone's focused on the Stanley Cup and kind of other things. So I'm hoping for the best for him. I really want him to sign with Grand Rapids. That's my ultimate goal here. And the competition level is real in the prospect pool right now. Like there's these young kids like Michael Brenzig Nygaard and these other forwards are all pushing for roster spots, and everyone wants to be on the Red Wings, of course. So it's a challenge enough just to get on the Griffins. And then I hopefully I think with what the roster's looking like right now, me and Connor were kind of looking at who the Griffins have signed. I think there's plenty of room to sign Red Savage and kind of keep him in, even if he does stay, scratched for the first part of the year or so. But
I
it's
agree.
possible that he plays next year for Michigan State.
I believe he's out of eligibility at this
Oh,
point.
Kind of what I
dang.
thought.
He, yeah, he might, I don't know if he might be able to sign like for
So,
medical because he got injured so soon into the season, but
I
I
think he
think
played too many games, unfortunately.
okay, yeah,
Gotcha.
and that's why we have you guys on here.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think he is out of eligibility. So at this point, he'll probably sign with Detroit would be my guess, and then he'll either go to Toledo or Grand Rapids, one of the two, just to start out.
Right. And he graduated, right?
Yep.
yep.
Moving on.
Yep.
So that kind of wraps us up with Red Savage. Really hoping the best for him. I would love to see him in Grand Rapids. So Nicholas Andrews is who we want to talk about next. What do you guys see from him? What has he brought to the Spartans this past season? And what do you think about his time on the Walleye? I'll start with you, Michael.
For sure, yeah, I can take this one. He's great. Nick Andrews has been good. I mean, he was good for Michigan State. Toledo, he's kind of come in as a role player. I think a lot of people didn't expect all these college guys on the walleye to jump right in, but you got Andrews, you got Colin Sawyer has been great. Um, More of them. There's a lot of guys that have helped them out to make this deep run. He's kind of filling in that like second pairing just about for Toledo.
That's good.
A little bit of mix and matching. He's been good. His points, you look at it, he's a defenseman, so obviously not going to be the highest because that's not his role.
Yep.
But you watch him in games, he's getting in there, he's physical, he fights guys all the time. He's good. He's blocking
Yeah, me and
shots,
Connor were
doing
watching
his
that.
role.
He got out of the penalty box and got that goal. That
That
was really nice
breakaway.
to see.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Definitely hyped
Perfect
us
place
up.
at the perfect time.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely the best experience you can get in the ECHL. You know, you join the team and you're pretty much take a playoff run right to the finals.
yeah. No, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, that's like some high quality like development right there. Like that's the best experience you'll get.
Toledo's good too for players as well. 'Cause, I mean, their home games, it's 8,600 people at every game. They've had how many? They've had like 78 sellouts in a row right now, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's a great place to play when you got fans hyping you up, and there's that many of them coming straight from college. So
Yeah, that's good to see. I'm really excited about Nick Andrews. When we signed him, I one of those players I wasn't really on my radar. And then as soon as we signed, I started looking up and he starts getting you excited the more you look at him. So what about
for
you,
sure.
Martin? What have you seen from Nick Andrews this season?
I mean, I think he's a great defenseman. Obviously, been a lot of growth in his game since obviously he transferred from Colorado College and then to Michigan State for his last year of college hockey. And I think just from those two transitions, like you see his comfortability and his reliableness in being a defenseman. And then kind of he graduates, we're not quite sure where he goes, and he signs with Toledo. And he's been great for them. Obviously, you see his points are very good and he's playing in a lot of games. And you just see like he continues to grow and continues to impress you. And he's kind of like one of those underdogs that you kind of don't look for, but then you like slowly start to notice him more and notice his game and how good he is in his line.
Yeah, so what necessarily is his line? What role did he play? Is he more of like a grinding defenseman? Was he two-way? Was he kind of is he really threatening the offensive zone? And like how often is he on the ice? Is he like a second line pairing? Where do you think he played most this season?
I mean, as far as like him playing at state, I know he was great in like disrupting the offense and how they were when they came into our zone and definitely blocking a lot of shots and just being able to like kind of take that and pass it. And he definitely can look for a good opportunity to his other teammates. And I think like that's pretty crucial,
Yeah.
his role.
Yeah, you guys both mentioned blocking shots, so that's good to hear.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need that.
his role at Michigan State and Toledo, I think, would have been a little different too. College, he put up more points. He had like 18 points or something this year, which for a defenseman, that's not too bad with the amount of games you
Good.
play. Where Toledo, he's kind of been more of that physicality and boost of speed, something fresh to the team coming straight from college. A
Gotcha.
little bit more of a role player in Toledo, where Michigan State, I think he was kind of two-way.
Nice. So coach probably gave him a little more trust in MSU, seeing him, and Toledo, he's just getting his feet wet, and they're like, "All right, you got some fresh legs, kid. Go use them."
Pretty much, yeah.
Gotcha. But being that he was from Canton, Michigan, so another Michigan native, staying home, it's just one more reason to be hyped up about him coming to Grand Rapids this next season. So super excited about Nick Andrews. So thanks for your guys' observations on him.
For sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so pretty much to wrap this up, we're gonna ask another question. What's your guys' prediction for next season?
Madison, I'll let you go.
I think not gonna jinx anything, but I think we'll make a pretty far run this season. I think we have a lot of star talent and top prospects coming in as long as with our returning as well. So I think we can make a pretty deep run. I obviously think the goal is to win a natty, but I think we'll see.
Yeah, this is a big year. They very fortunate. They didn't lose a lot of talent. They have a couple guys parting ways, but you're bringing back your key players. Caden Lindstrom's coming in. He looks sweet. And hey, I'm not saying anything, but Bucci Gross posted something about Gavin McKenna, but you never know. You never know.
That would be awesome. That'd be insane, dude.
I'd love that. If he comes, absolutely natty or bust. But even now, you got to make a deep run. This team's looking really, really good.
Yeah, and they're hungry too. Just a lot of them coming back. You said those guys lost early in the playoffs, and that probably is not sitting well in their stomach. And I bet you they're gonna come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, I think right now, that's like 15 or 16 NHL picks are on their team right now, which is unreal.
Yeah, you guys have been quite the pipeline in the past, but I think right now you guys have really stepped up your game on the talent you're bringing into your school, and so it's interesting to see. So we're really glad we got to talk to you guys about it. And do you guys have any questions for us?
Do you think Toledo can pull it off?
I think they can.
I think they can too. I think that they just need to force this next game. It's an away game. They have to win this next one, and I think if they can win that one, I think you bring the Toledo crowd into it. Toledo has one
Bring
of
it
the
home.
best atmospheres in hockey, and I think if they bring it there and the crowd gets into it enough, I think absolutely Toledo could win
Yeah,
it.
you got to bring it home.
Have to.
Yeah, and I think it's been pretty chippy out there. I think they got to match the chippiness level and
Yeah.
got to close it up a little bit with they've been kind of letting loose, so they got to close it up defensively, and they got to get out there. And it's really good to see Trenton Bliss putting the puck in the net the way he has. So I think he's kind of been the X factor for Toledo this year, and I think if he steps it up, I think they can do it.
You got the back-to-back ECHL MVP on that team, and
Brandon
Hawkins. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's kind of a different year, same story with them. Is they're loaded, they got all this talent, and somehow they just can't ever finish it out. And it's all right. Not over yet.
Not over yet.
It's time to finish it out.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on our show. Do you want to drop anything like your socials or anything where to find you guys? Talk about your page real quick. Where to find your page?
Follow us on Twitter, X, MSU Munnsters. We got our Instagram too. Keep up to date and come out to some games.
Yeah, looking forward to making it down there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Madison.
Of course.
Thank you very much, Madison and Michael, for coming on. That was a great talk. I'm really excited to go down and make it to a game there in MSU this season.
Yeah, it's really good talking to these guys, hearing about the culture over in Michigan State, how things have grown, and how just hockey in general is pretty big over there in Lansing. And they are really pushing to create kind of that same culture that just publishes players into the NHL. So,
yeah, great interview. Really glad to have them on. Thank you guys very much. So now we are going to get into our final segment of the episode, which is the final segment of every episode. Welcome to the penalty box. Welcome to the penalty box. In this segment of the episode, we like to end it on a fun note and it's our one chance to step out of hockey. We take the biggest idiot of the week, throw them into the penalty box for a 2-minute minor, 4-minute double minor, 5-minute major, or game misconduct. Kyle, who are you throwing into the penalty box?
So today, being that it just wrapped up on the July 4th celebrations and downtown GR, sounds like it was an absolute mess for these festivities, as seems like everyone was in a huge panic on the Blue Bridge for the fireworks session. Yeah, just not ideal for the people that were down there to watch the fireworks. Personally, not a huge fan of trying to watch fireworks in a huge crowded event like that. But for those who do and those with the family members and kids down there, for some guy to just yell that there's a shooting going on, or for maybe people are walking around with guns, I've heard all sorts of different things of what's going on. Sounds like there's a couple different police reports down there at different locations. Just like, come on, guys. This is our town. This is our city. Let's keep it safe. We're down here with each other and make it somewhere we want to go.
Yeah, that's just a really scary situation, especially when you do have your family with you and you don't know what's going to happen. Some people got trampled. It was a really bad situation. So yeah, that's a game misconduct on my book. Kyle, what are you putting that in as?
Oh yeah, anyone that threatening the peace down there is getting a 5-minute major at least.
Yeah, I say game misconduct. Get them out of there.
Yep. So hopefully the people that were down there causing a ruckus get what they deserve, and the festivities continued in peace.
Yeah.
So who do you got for the penalty box, Connor?
So Michigan man starts house on fire with propane torch while trying to use propane torch to burn down weeds.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Seems like a high risk type of situation if you're trying to just weed. Why don't you just, do it like everyone else? Maybe use your hands.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's probably not a good idea to try to use a propane torch to burn your weeds out. I mean, there's this thing called Roundup or this thing called your hands. I don't prefer Roundup because that's very toxic stuff. It gives people cancer. So keep that in mind before you use chemicals. 5-minute major, burn your house down. Anytime you burn your house down, that's a 5-minute major.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd have to agree with that statement.
Yeah, so have fun in the box. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of the Griffins Pipeline podcast and our Players in the Pipeline, episode 1 this offseason. We're going to try to do this every offseason, try to talk about some of the top prospects coming up with people who know about what they are talking about instead of us rambling on about what we read on Elite Prospects or the Red Wings page or the Griffins page. But yeah. Thank you guys from Michigan State for coming on. Our next episode is going to be Michigan hockey. Announcer, the voice of Michigan hockey, Al Randall. So that's going to be a really fun one. It was a really fun one for us. So we got Michigan. Now we got Michigan State. Now we got Michigan. So we got both sides of the pipeline. We're talking about Jacob Trescott and a bunch of other things. And we got Lars Thorsel from the Swedish winger to talk about some of the other prospects from Sweden. So,
yep, get some opinions from those around watching the players, and so you don't got to hear us ramble about them. So, like Connor said, stay tuned. Be ready to hear these episodes. Go Griffins.
Yeah, go Griffins.
Thank you for listening to the Griffins Pipeline podcast. If you enjoyed the show, give us a 5-star review. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. We are not partnered with the Grand Rapids Griffins, Detroit Red Wings, or Toledo Walleye. We are not experts. We are just die-hard fans looking to make a community with others alike. Let's go Griffins Nation. Join the fun, like, and follow us on Facebook and X, or call into the show and have your opinion heard 1-616-319-1175. Thank you. Grand Rapids Griffins, Toledo Walleye, and Detroit Red Wings. Players, coaches, websites, and social media. Thank you, AHL.com, NHL.com, ETL.com, EliteProspects.com, and anyone else putting out information on the teams. Until next time, go Griffins. Go Red Wings, go Walleye.